Good afternoon and namaste and welcome to another edition of the Sunday Afternoon Lime with your host Mala Harripersad and my very esteemed colleague and co-host for this evening, Mr. Joe Jaglal. Hi Joe, how are you?
Hello, Mala. Great to be here once again. And hello, Facebook land, to all our friends out there. What a beautiful day it is. Cold in Toronto. But looking
Yes.
at Mala in that backdrop, wow, it feels so good. Good to see you, Mal.
Oh, good to see you too. I wish we had a live fire here, or at least a virtual fire. That would have been great.
Don't worry, we'll make the fire happen on the program.
All right. So, for everybody who is logged on watching today, we hope that you're keeping safe and practicing social distancing. As you all know, our COVID numbers are rising in Ontario, and we must do everything that we can to stay safe and protect our loved ones. So, I urge everyone to please stay home. Just go out whenever is absolutely necessary, and let's all do our very best to stop this dreadful virus from spreading. Thank you. And so, for everyone who is joined in right now, we are coming to you live from Toronto, Canada, and it's now 4 p.m. And we're also streaming live on Facebook under my page, Mala Harripersad. And you can also catch us live on YouTube under my YouTube channel under the same name. And we are also streaming live on the Radio Parkibat radio page. So, for everyone who's logged in today, welcome to another special edition. We have some very important and prominent members of our community as our guest here today. But before we introduce our guest, let me just pass it over to my esteemed co-host, Mr. Joe Jaglao, to say a few words to you.
Yes, I want to join with my sister Mala Harripersad in saying to you that welcome, brothers and sisters all across the world. Today, particularly today, we want to talk to two of our local community workers. When I say local, they are in Toronto, a lot of community work, but they have done work across Guyana also. So Ajax, if you are ready for us, log on. You know anybody in Ajax living right now, they will be very glad to hear what we have to say about Ajax and who we'll have on the program from Ajax. But for now, brothers and sisters, can you do Mala and I a favor? Can you help us go and click that share button, share it? And one more thing, if you like what you're seeing, give us some love. Give us some hearts in that program, or you hear what our guests are saying. Give us some love and share it so that others can enjoy the program the same way you and I will be enjoying it this afternoon. We are ready to go. I want to pass you back on to our host, Malahar Prasad.
Fabulous. Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate that. And so, for everyone locked on again, please do share the page, invite your friends, neighbors, and relatives, and whoever to come out and, log into our Facebook page right now and check us out. We do have some really important information. Um, Before we move on, I think I would like us to admit our first guest, Joe.
Yes, we should.
Okay. She is. Let's wait for her. There she is. All right. Can you hear us well?
Unmute yourself, Janet.
There we go. Hi, Janet. How are you?
Hi, Mala. Hi, Joe. I'm fine, thanks. Sorry about that mishap.
That's
That's all
okay.
right.
That's not a problem. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, let me do a proper introduction of our very first guest, Ms. Janet Naidu. She's an educator and a leader in the field of diversity and inclusion in the workplace. She currently works as a human rights investigator in the area of allegations of harassment and discrimination. and most specifically in conflict resolution. She was a former president of the Toronto Employment Equity Association. She is also a certified career and life coach. She's also a poet and has published 3 collections of poems: The Winged Heart in 1999, Rainwater in 2005, and Sacred Silence in 2009. She is the former president of the Pakarama Writers Association, and Janet was recently elected president of the ACG, which supports the efforts of the people of Guyana to establish a society based on peace, democracy, equality, and human rights. Janet also has a Bachelor of Law and a BA in Political Science and Caribbean Studies. Welcome, Janet. Thank you so much for being on the program here with us today.
Thank you, Marla. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
All right. So how is it going, Janet? Tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know I've said a lot about you, but, I think it would be nice to hear something from you.
Thank you, Marla. Well, I came to Canada in the mid-1970s, so that's a very long time ago. I was born in Covent Garden, East Bank, Demerara, in Guyana, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to Toronto, and I've been here ever since.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that was a very, very long time. Now, Janet, you say that you work as a human rights investigator. Can you walk us through the process of a human rights investigation?
Well, before I go into the actual process of an investigation, let me just start by saying that, when workplaces have conflicts and employees might be, feeling that they were discriminated against, then they file a complaint. They could be in a unionized workplace or they could be in a non-unionized workplace. And the process is really about getting to the bottom of what the complaint is about. It could be about any of the human rights grounds, which actually in Ontario, there are 16 grounds. I wouldn't name them all, but the most prominent ones are, race, gender, age, disability, place of origin. It could be a number of things like that in employment, why a person may feel they're discriminated against. And so the process is about interviewing the parties and, fact-finding exercise. And in some cases, you have to go on the balance of probability and make a finding. You may find in favor of the complainant or you may find not in favor.
And how important is it for employees to come forward with complaints of harassment or discrimination in the workplace?
I'm glad you asked that question because quite often employees, when you hear the word complaint or complainant, it has a negative tone. But as a matter of fact, complaints are actually a good thing. And why I'm saying this is because it allows both the employee and the employer to look at what the issues are that may be perceived as a problem. And in some cases, there may be a necessity to look at a policy that might have a flaw or it might be incomplete. And there's a need for efficiency management. So, or it can be a clarity issue where there's a communication barrier. These are all nuances around complaint handling. So why it's good for employees to come forward, if they're in doubt about something and they come forward, it could be dealt with as an informal stage, which may be a very simple matter of discussing it and say, oh, I didn't know. And it's resolved and we move on. Or it could be a very complex issue, which may be that there's a systemic barrier and the employer may need to look at that issue that they had not looked at before. And sometimes you only need one person to actually see a red flag. And it says, oh my gosh, we didn't even know. Let's try and correct that.
Right, right. Joe, do you have anything to add to that?
I just want to ask Janet that when we talk about human rights, investigation, harassment, discrimination, it is not something that is localized to Toronto or to Canada. What
Mhm.
you're addressing basically are a global cause, effect, or things that are happening anywhere. Once there are human beings coming together on the platform, whether it's work or any relations, we have these sort of things. How prevalent are those discriminatory type of investigations or causes or harassments, or how prevalent are they in our GTA area?
Well, I can't say I agree with you, Joe, that this is not just a Toronto issue, but it's everywhere. And it's not just employment, it could be in housing, it could be in services. One thing I do want to cover here is that a lot of people are maybe afraid to come forward because they may be perceived in a negative light. So sometimes we may not have a good handle on how prevalent they may be because we don't know. They say, well, it's not worth fighting for. It's so stressful. I'd rather it go away. On the other hand, you have a silent majority who may actually be witness to something
Mhm.
and they don't get involved to do something about it. Um,
Right.
so I don't know if that answers the question, but it's
Sh-
there. And
Sure.
I do want to add that along the lines of discrimination and harassment, there's something called unconscious bias. Sometimes people don't know what they're doing is inappropriate or has a discriminatory or prejudicial effect. And it could go on unless the person who is subjected to it brings it forward and has an opportunity to deal with.
I,
And I'm a person, I bring it forward all the time. If
right.
I'm shopping somewhere, if I'm on public transportation, and I raise it not as a way of causing a discord, but as a learning experience for the person to know, by the way, did you know what you did affected me this way? And it's like a pearl, it's like a diamond. If those of us who experience it act on it in a way that is giving the person an opportunity to change the behavior, that is the learning curve we need.
So
That
what you so what you're saying is, sorry to cut you. So what you're saying, if I get you correctly, and maybe all of our people who are logging on with us right now from Guyana, United States, Kitchener, here in Toronto, is that you tend to nip it early by you talking about it to that person. But it's the way you talk to them
yes,
so that it doesn't seem like you're confronting, but wanting to discuss it so
yes.
it doesn't happen again. Am I correct in?
That is correct. That is very correct. And it takes courage and it takes a person to be bold. And quite often, as I said, a person may be emotionally consumed with what's happening and how it made them feel, that they are not at that thinking zone to get, in a constructive way. So you need to take time to process what's happening, maybe take a day or two. It might not be able to react right away, but if it's a public person, you could. But if you have an opportunity with a person who you might email or send them a WhatsApp or a text, you take some time to think about what has happened, process it, and then articulate yourself in a very constructive way that this is what you did and this is how it affected me.
Do you find a lot of cases where someone may be labeled as a whistleblower and they're being reprimanded because of it?
Well, prior to a whistleblowing policy coming into being, where people might feel protected, yes, they would, definitely not. You wouldn't find that they would feel that way. Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Janet, you also said that you're a career life coach. what exactly is a career life coach? Like, what do you do?
Oh, well, okay. Generally, a career life coach is a person who is helping another person succeed at their goals. And really, it's not about telling the person what to do, but to be able to have an inquiring kind of conversation with them, such as, tell me what's making you feel abundant today? What's abundant in your life? What do you want to achieve? You know, what's your goal and when do you think you might be able to do so? So it's putting the onus on the person to say, let me think. And here's what I see myself doing. And they start to get into that zone of being motivated, being inspired by their own life experiences that sometimes are dormant. And, we all have so much to do that our energy can go in a slow zone sometimes. So coaching allows the person to get into a zone of, the opportunity to maximize your full potential, your
Correct.
career, your family, your friends, your social interest. And you just get into that energizing moment that suddenly you say, well, I didn't think of that. I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Like
Yes.
I've heard of life coaches before and career coaches, but I never really knew like what is it they do and how do one get in contact with somebody like that, and what's the process? So can someone actually contact you and say, hey, can you like help me out?
Absolutely. I'm actually volunteering right now at the Human Resources. My background is in human resources employment. So I'm volunteering at the Human Resources Association, coaching young professionals. They actually have a mentoring coaching program, and
Hmm.
they match the mentor with a mentee from the university or the college. But generally, in my community, as you know, Mala and Joe, I'm in the community trying to help people, and I will give my time to anyone who would like to give me a call.
Speak,
Awesome.
Speaking of the community, I just want to give a shout out to all of our viewers on Facebook land right now who are watching us. Shilling Indra, thank you for logging in. Sukhchand, good afternoon to you. Dwarka Singh, thank you so much for logging in. From United States, Rihanna DeJoy, thank you so much. Sateshwar Prasad, real estate tycoon from Kitchener, thank you, brother, for logging in. Minicap, Billy Sahadat, wonderful singer. Romeo Sammy, and the list goes on. Thank you all for logging in. Please do help us share the link so that these information can go out to more people so they can be part of it also. If you do have any questions for our guests today, please, you can put them on the chat and we will definitely ask on your behalf. So,
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. So, Janet, you are also a very established and published poet. Now, I know how difficult it is to be published. I mean, you're a Guyanese, and what was the inspiration? And like, I know that you're a professional writer, but how did you get into writing poems?
Well, I started when, I was in Guyana before I left Guyana. And I like to tell the story of the days when we had pen pals around the world.
Right.
And that's how I really got into creativity and expression in print, because I had put my name in a pen pal magazine and I had letters from, God, about 50 countries,
Wow.
New Zealand, Japan, England, Ireland, everywhere, Pakistan, India. And actually, as of today, I am still friends with a lady in Germany. She is in Munich, and we have been communicating since then. I met her once when I went to Europe. But what I wanted to say about how I got started in poetry, I used to write letters about Covent Garden Island, where I came from,
Uh-huh.
and how it was a paradise. And I would embellish the garden and the road and the cane field, and I would be talking excitingly about the life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, being in an agricultural setting, of course. And I also got attached to or involved with a group in Georgetown. And some of you may know the late Rajkumari Singh. She's a daughter of Dr. Jang Bahadur Singh from Lamaha Street, and she was also in Radio Demerara. She was a writer, she was a poet, she was a stage a playwright, and she had writers at her home, and she was nurturing them, like Mahadev Das, Rupal Monar, Henry Mutu, who's now in the Caribbean, and many others. And I was, hanging around the group. And then she invited me to write a couple of poems for her magazine.
Mhm.
And since then, I just kept going.
Do
And I
you,
came,
as a writer, I know, like you mentioned, being a pen pal and all of that. It's I remember growing up while I was in high school, and yes, I did had one pen pal, and my parents, they encouraged me to write, and like we all used to write them because we didn't have things like iPad and iPhone and
oh yes.
all the technology that we have today. Do you think that the English language is like diminishing, sort of, especially with writing?
Well, I would say that methods of communication are changing.
Mhm.
And it's taking a person a lot longer to read a novel than they would have done before because of the limited access to technology and resources.
Mhm.
So today, people are reading probably less, but they're reading differently. They're reading enough information because we are so information overloaded that they're
Well,
reading enough information to sustain their ability to like get a good education, communicate in their work. That's what I feel about it. There's some diminished reading taking place, but it's done in a way that is engineered differently.
mhm.
That people need to captivate quick methodologies of getting enough information. I can't think of a field. Of course, when we're talking about, the arts and sciences or, information technology, they're all different. So they will be required reading for different things.
Well, we have things like Google these days because now if I want to know something, all I do is like, oh, let me check on Google, and the information is right there.
Yeah, and now I don't have the technology, but I hear that you can even ask Google in your home for the weather forecast and everything. I better get
Yeah.
that on my on my list, my Christmas list.
Mal,
Yeah,
can we pause for a moment? Our next guest is in the waiting room right now, and we can
absolutely.
bring him in,
Sure.
and we're going to bring him in and introduce him, and then we'll carrying on in the program. Well, we have with us also our second guest who have just joined us, and it's no other than a gentleman who I considered a brother. I just wanted to let you know about him before I bring him on to say anything to you. He is no other than Mr. Ashmeed Khan, Councillor of Ajax, Ontario, Canada. And he was elected to that position on October 22nd, 2018. Just for you to let you know a little bit about who Ashmeed is. He moved to Canada from Guyana in 2002 and since then has always called Ajax his home. For 18 years, he's been living in Ajax. He became an Ajax business owner in 2006 when he opened his first Minuteman Press franchise on Harwood Avenue. And soon after, he acquired two more Minuteman Press stores in Oshawa and Kingston. Eventually, the three stores were amalgamated into one large facility, which currently operates on McPherson Court in Pickering. Now, in 2006, Ashmead immediately became a member of the Whitby Chamber of Commerce and Ajax Pickering Board of Trade. And once he opened his business, where he has been active for the past 14 years, and he chaired its diversity committee. Now, he's also the recipient of both their Business Excellence and Business Person of the Year award. Mr. Ashmeed Khan resigned during the last few months of his second term as a director of APBOT Ajax Pickering Board of Trade to run for political office in his beloved municipality. He has also served for 4 years as ambassador of the Whitby Chamber of Commerce and was advisor of the Recreation and Cultural Committee of Tongue of Ajax. Now, he worked on the Ajax Community Fund Grant Task Force, and they drafted among top entrepreneur and surgeons to successfully build the shoulder center of the Ajax Hospital. His work goes on. He worked closely for the past 14 years with the YMCA and John Howard Society, hiring candidates, monitoring, teaching them his skills, his trade skills in the print industry, and help prepare them for future. Ashmeed's spare time, he has 5 children. They keep him busy. His 2 daughters are 22 and 8 years old. His 3 sons, 21, 18, and 13, are all active in combat sports. And whenever time allows, he assists in coaching at Ajax Boxing Club. Before I bring him on, I would like to share with you, because I think this is powerful, what he has done as a Guyanese Canadian. Just this year, this is what he got the Tongue of Ajax to do. Here it is.
Today, I would like to recognize the 54th anniversary of Independence Day in Guyana. The Cooperative Republic of Guyana achieved independence from the United Kingdom on May 26, 1966. Independence Day is normally celebrated with numerous events and activities held throughout the country and internationally, focusing on Guyana's diversity and rich cultural heritage. Festivities will certainly look a little different this year in response to COVID-19. I am proud to represent Guyana as a Guyanese Canadian on Ajax Council. I look forward to being able to hold a formal proclamation with Ajax Council this coming fall. Today, I want to wish a happy Independence Day to all those celebrating in Guyana and abroad. Thank you.
So, brothers and sisters all across the world, you're watching us, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor and a privilege of ours, mine and Mala's, to have in our program this afternoon a son of Guyana, Councillor of Ajax, Mr. Ashmeed Khan. A very hearty welcome to you, Brother Ashmeed.
Welcome to the program, Ashmeed. Nice to finally meet you virtually.
Nice to meet you too. Brother Joe, I almost said salam alaikum when I see that beard, boy.
Salam alaikum, brother.
You look nice with that beard.
It's Santa time also, right?
Yes, it's Santa time.
Yeah, I think Joe would look really nice with a Santa suit on right now.
Yes. You know, with 5 kids, I do actually have a Santa suit. So, but I only wear it at Christmas morning, right? When I'm doing breakfast for them.
Yeah. Wonderful, brother. It's so good to have you on the program, along with our sister Janet Naidu, another community worker who has been treading the roadways of Toronto since the 70s. As we begin today, we want to just open the program. Your bio is quite impressive. You've been hiding in the tongue of Ajax all the time, but with our impressive bio, yet impressive actions where you have helped your tongue. One thing, tell us a little bit about your life back in Guyana and why you came to Canada.
Thank you very much. And thank you for having me on this wonderful show. I have been, since you've told me about it, Joe, I can say creeping it. I've been looking at all the shows and how well done it has been done. And I'm so proud to see Amal and her talents. It was like, wow, you talking, I'm not a hidden, this is a hidden gem right here. So I'm looking at you guys do this. I was really impressed. And I always tout our Guyanese talents, and I'm so proud. One of the reasons I sit on this board and this platform is to make sure that although I represent all of Ajax, Guyanese needed to be represented. And I'll get to that. But from back home, I went to Central High, finished high school, and then I'm number 5 of 6 children. I'm the first son. But my dad got sick as soon as I came out of high school. So I had to go out and work, and I got into the print industry. So I started my little print shop in my dad's garage. I'm from Providence, Old Road. So right where the big Providence Stadium is, and so
Yes.
that was all Cane Field, right? So I grew up in them Cane Field, and when Cane done born, I swim across and
Yes.
team the point. Oh, I shouldn't say that. But anyways, we get them Cane. but that's my roots, and I grew up in Providence. And what I had done, because in our there's no YMCA's that's active, and there's no activities for our youth in Guyana. So all the guys that I grew up with, they would be like in the street corner with their rum bottle and smoking, dope and all this stuff. And I always thought, when my business started to grow, I thought I'd pull them in and try and coach them and take them off the streets. And I've been doing that throughout in Guyana. And it's I see these when I go back home, and I see my colleagues. I call them. They have their own little print shops, and they're married, and they got family, and I feel that's really hard filling for me. So I got into printing. My parents, everybody was in Canada, and I was doing very well. And I got married and had 3 kids, and I didn't really want to come to Canada because things are well in Guyana. But my parents, with all the political stuff that was happening, my parents encouraged me to come. I did have my citizenship for a
Yes.
very long time, so I
So I,
finally came.
so I think your story is similar to many of our stories, why we left and why we came over here. And to all of our brothers and sisters, if you are from Ajax right now and you're logged in on Facebook, you have any questions, your counselor is on the hot seat right now. Anything you want, I'm not saying you will get it, but anything you want, anything you want to ask of him, and later on we're going to give you his contact number and all of that. You give us your questions, we're going to post it to him right now. But brother Ashmeed, I want to ask you, you have developed quite an impressive business portfolio since you arrived in Canada. So that success from Guyana continues over here. And many people, sometimes the trend is, I want to get successful. Let me get into politics. Let me know a few people so it will make me successful. You're the opposite. You were successful, brother, and then you got into politics. Why?
I get poor now. You know how much money I lost as I got into politics? Like, my business took such a beating.
Yeah.
But the reason why, that, like you said, the same mentality of assisting community, and I don't know where that comes from. I think it's the hospitable nature that we have as Guyanese. I don't know
True.
if that's what it is, because we were always looking out for ourselves, for our neighbors. Our neighbors are always looking out for us, right?
Yeah.
When they chop the stack of banana from the backyard, they just come and give you a hand.
Yes.
That's how we grew up in Guyana, right? But I brought that, and but I didn't want to do printing in Canada anymore. It was too hard. But I mean, after, like, out of high school into the industry, I didn't know how to do anything else. So after 4 years, I bought, like, the franchise's Minuteman. It's not mine; it's a franchise. It is the biggest print franchise in the world, and because when you come off, I would say, come off the boat.
The boat.
You come off the boat, and you come into Canada. Like, I didn't know anything in the industry compared to what Canadians know.
Yes.
So I had to buy the franchise, and I went to school in New York and learned business in New York. Right. So, but
So
when I came back, sorry, go ahead.
why did you get into politics then? The business was successful.
Yeah, but it's the whole thing that I started working when you said I work with the John Howard Society and the YMCA. Those are the places that takes youth who have committed crimes, right? And they try to get them employed. And Janet might know more about this too as well. These are kids who are unemployable because they have a record. Just like I did back home in the street, boys smoking and drinking, I did the same thing here, and I got these kids off the streets, and I started developing the community. What had happened when I joined the Ajax Pickering Board of Trade, and I was part of the Minuteman Press's portfolio. You need to join your Board of Trade. When I walked into the first meeting in 2006 at the Ajax Town Hall, and I can unapologetically say this, I was the only non-white person in that town hall.
Right.
And the people there let me know it.
That must have been quite the culture shock then for them.
Yes, yes. And it was humiliating for me.
Yeah.
And I'm from a good background. So, I didn't come for that kind of humiliation. And I said, you know what? I sucked it up and I made a couple of friends. And then I worked my way up into the Ajax Board of Trade. Mind you, that event that I went into, it was not a Board of Trade event. It was just an event for Ajax, but we were not represented. And Ajax now, and I get to my point, is one of the most diverse communities in all of Canada. We are 57% diversity,
True.
and we did not have any representation on council.
So 2 years have gone by, brother. You have been representing the people in Ajax. Heard good things about you. Tell us about some of the achievements or some of the trials that you would have gone through as a counselor to bring success and goodness to the people of Ajax.
The mayor, the new mayor, Jean Collier, very good friend of mine. Him and I and my colleagues, we are all business oriented. The previous council, they were amazing. They were more environmentally friendly, and they were preserving our lands, the green belt, and they were servicing the lands, like preparing the lands for business. When we took over, we took the other level of attracting businesses. So what we made a promise to Ajax is in our term from 2018 to 2022, we promised we were going to bring at least 5,000 jobs to Ajax. I think we're almost there, and we're only at year 2. And our biggest thing that we can be proud of and grateful for is that we have landed Amazon in Ajax.
Yeah.
So Amazon, we are building, it's currently going up. It's 1 million square feet. And that alone will employ 1,000 people. And I'm not saying Ajax residents, it's there, it's home, right? You can apply. I mean, we said back home, you can take the horse to the water, but you can't make you drink them.
True.
Right? So we're gonna put the jobs there, and we hope, and we always say what's good for Ajax is good for Pickering, is good for Durham, it's good for Canada. It's not only about us. But Brother Joe, your answer to your question is that we want jobs. We want our people to be gainfully employed, and Guyanese and diverse communities need to know that they are represented. And I have given my cell phone number to 100. Well, in my ward, I represent 40,000 people, and they have my cell phone. I have one phone, and everybody calls me on that phone, and I will answer that phone at any time to answer any questions and help in any way I can. This is the reason I'm poor. I stop walk at my print shop. I am serving my community.
Yeah. In fact, Mal, if I may just interject here, that I get to know Mr. Ashmeed Khan, Brother Ashmeed, through the Guyana Consulate. He attended our flag raising ceremony one year. And right away, what radiates from this gentleman is a sense of ownership that I am part of a community and I want to help in whatever way I can. And just this last Republic celebration, 50-year Jubilee, he gave a very impressive speech at the Civic Center in Scarborough. And at that time, he said to the Consul General, I will make sure that Ajax give you the keys for the Independence Day celebration. Even though COVID came, he fulfilled. We could not have gone and done flag raising there, but he got the city to, what was the word they used, to proclaim Ajax that day as a Guyana Day. And that's why with a lot of pride, I played that clip, because here is an underdog, as it were, like he said, but he hold what he know as pride to him as being a Guyanese and wanting it to be a Guyana Day in Ajax. So I salute you, brother. Thank you very much for that.
But this would not be possible without my colleagues, my council colleagues, if they didn't believe in Guyana and the integrity we bring to our community. This would not have been possible without the support of our mayor as well. So I cannot, I cannot take the credit. If they didn't support this motion, it would not have gone through. And I want to thank our council. And our council is diverse. We have 4 white Canadians, I'll say, And then we have a Chinese, Sterling. He's my regional counselor in my ward. And we have Lisa Bauer. She's a Filipina. And I learned that word Filipina. That's for a female Filipino. And I can share that a little bit. And then you have a Guyanese business person, right, who is of Indian Muslim descent that
Yeah.
I can represent. I can represent us all. You know where I have lunch every Sunday before COVID started? The
At the
Mandir. The
at
man,
the
you know
Mandir.
that. I go to the Mandir. And Pandit Rudy's come hug me, kiss me, sit down by. All I want is a little parasat to take home. There's all in a little Illy brown bag, and then I good, you know what? I can sit down and sani and eat everything because
Oh boy. Haven't heard that word in a long time.
In fact, I should let you know the brotherhood of this brother is many a times on Diwali or Pagwa, he will call to wish me happy Diwali and Pagwa. That's a brotherhood. And I think you're right, Ashmeed, when you mention it, that I think, and Sister Janet, you can back us up on this one. We as Guyanese, we're some of the most tolerant people when it comes to interracial, when it comes to intercultural. We are the most, and I pride myself with that because all four of us on this panel here, we work in this community, and we work in this community void of color.
That's
So one last question I'll ask you before I pass it over to our sister Mala, our host Mala. Can you tell us a little bit in terms of how small businesses are coping with COVID currently in Ajax? How are they coping?
our council especially, we have always been going out to small businesses. So we have the big box stores, that's always the Walmarts and the Costco's and stuff, it's always there. But we as a council, we are a young, vibrant council as well. We go out and we promote our young businesses. We go to the restaurants, we eat there, we spend, but we set that example. At the same time, being cognizant that we cannot really promote one particular business, right? But we want people to go out there and support. And if you check all of our social medias, we can't say promote again, but we will go and support it, and we'll talk about how good the foods are and the services. Like, even we would encourage going to the small, even though you might pay $2 more for something. These are the people who just come out and sponsor your hockey games and your soccer games and your cricket games. So we try to get that into our residents, that we have to support. But it's hard. Like, it's very, very my business is taking an extreme beating, my print business. But it is this, and what I do tell all of our colleagues, I said, listen, this is not the year to save. This is the year to survive.
To
This
serve?
we're gonna survive. We're gonna get through it, right? Our government, I think it's amazing. The federal government, they're making sure you get money. I mean, look, some people are making more money now than they were when they were working.
Yeah.
Imagine you getting the CERB, and it's you and the wife and 2 kids. That's like $8,000 a month.
Yes.
Right? I mean, that some people are doing better. Everybody in Ajax got brand new driveways, by the way. Usually everybody driveway got interlocking right now because everybody's been home this summer. But we try to put a good spin on things. The Almighty he has been taking care of you all your life. He's not gonna turn his back on you all.
True.
Right? As a man of religion and a man of love and tolerance, you would understand that, the Almighty in turn is back on us.
Mal, I just want to interject, and I'm sorry to do this again, but I need to address a concern right now on Facebook.
Okay.
And Jislam Muhammad is addressing, and it's very concerning. He says, make sure that you have a true Guyana Day, not only just alcohol. We need some arts, craft, and items from Guyana to show our culture and heritage. All the Guyana Day is just drinking and all about promoting, and worrying about the bar. If you're gonna do something, please do with pride and proper event. I am with you for 100%, brother. And I just want to let you know that over 10 years, I've been associated with the Guyana Consulate. And every program that they put on, and I'm sure Brother Ashmeed putting on a program, will be void of that. Alcohol is not what makes us who we are, but I know where you're going at, because if people of other culture are saying, well, if it's not alcohol, it's not Guyanese. But every one of our programs, and Brother Ashmeed was there at Melasman Square when we had our flag raising ceremony also, it's all the Guyanese food, it's all the mobbies and that sort of thing, but no alcohol on those programs. That's not what we are.
And if I may, when we were already planning our proclamation day, our Guyana Day at our town hall, and of course, I think it's Aslam. Was that the resident's name? Yes. So
Yeah,
in our
Muhammad.
town
Yeah.
hall, yeah, we will not have alcohol in our town hall for sure. And I must commend you. I mean, being a Muslim myself, the foods that I had with the CG at Melasman Square, the food was halal. Like
Yes.
I had halal chicken and roti, and I was happy. Right. So I mean, I must commend you, Brother Joe.
Wait, halal chicken and roti. What about the duck? There is no duck curry.
Yeah, hot dog and give me none. Wait. No, I know. I think I had chicken curry and roti. But yeah, I know. And I have never been to. I think you used to have a big event somewhere in Scarborough that
Yes,
used to be a big party, right?
the Guyana Festival.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, that's different. But I don't think the Guyana they will definitely not in Ajax. You won't have that happening in
No.
Ajax for sure. But thank you for that concern.
Okay.
So will you be planning one come next year?
It's there waiting for COVID to stop. It's there. It was. We even said, the mayor and staff says, Councillor Khan, soon as in fall, soon as this COVID thing stops, we're gonna have your flag raising. We're gonna raise the golden arrowhead in Ajax. I promise you that. And the mayor has given me his promise and his blessing on that. So it will happen in the right
Awesome.
time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Excellent.
Well, we're going to shift things over a little. And I know Janet's been sitting here patiently. And I do have a
Okay.
couple more questions for her. So, Janet, I know that you were recently elected president of the ACG. And can you tell us a little bit more about that position? And also, I wanted to ask you, I seem to remember that this position was mainly held by male members of this organization. And this is a 47-year-old organization. And within that 47 years, I think you're the second female president. How did you manage that?
Well, thank you for that question. I would have to say that traditionally, as you know, politics is a predominantly male domain. And it's not something that's new to me. I have studied political science. I've been involved in many arenas that not necessarily political in terms of higher office, but different types of politics. So you understand that, it's just that for me personally, I got involved 27 years ago with the organization. And it was really initially for me to see what's going on in Guyana. And this was an organization that had a closer relationship and interest in what's going on in Guyana, particularly around fair and free elections.
Mm-hmm.
And, over time, of course, they say that nothing is like when the time is right for you. And over the years, I supported in many capacities, and I felt now the time was right for me to throw my hat in.
Wow. Okay. And what was the general response to that?
Well, actually very positive. I have my colleagues are very supportive and very, energized. And that tells me that there's no problem at all. And they've known me for all these years. So it's not like I'm a new kid on the block and they're like being suspicious of me or anything like that. They know me. So it was very easy for me to just take on the leadership and be guided by the, consensus and collective decisions that we make as a group.
Well, I remember when the elections was happening in Guyana and there was all that tumultuous events happening around the whole counting of the votes and whatever, and there was the election, a protest happening downtown. Some of the questions I remember reading on Facebook was, what importance does the ACG hold in Canada? Why are we protesting in the streets of Ontario for an election that's happening in Guyana?
Yeah, well, that's a very good question. Let me preamble my answer by saying that peoples of the world, whether you're from South Africa or you're from India or you're from China, Have been moving around the globe and settling elsewhere. So it is no surprise that in the Canadian diaspora of people of different ethnic origin or national origin, to have a love and attachment and a deep care for the country of their birth. And Guyanese Canadians are no different. If you don't see when the protest was happening in Hong Kong for China, you see people of Asian origin in Toronto or any other country, you will see us because, you know, we are a country of diverse peoples. Canadian, this is why sometimes we say Japanese Canadian, Guyanese Canadian, you know, Vietnamese Canadian, so on. And, you know, multiculturalism is enshrined in our Canadian Constitution. And those of us for Guyanese, we may have left the shores decades ago, but we haven't really left knowing that you were born and raised there. And you have that deep love for Guyana. And you want to see justice, you want to see rightness, you want to see democracy prevail. So during the elections, there were more people fired up, including children of Guyanese who migrated, students who joined us. They just wanted that whole holding on to, this can't be happening to our country of origin, whether it's by birth or our parents' place. They had that mindset that there cannot be anti-democratic forces taking place. And I've heard stories about people telling me how they couldn't sleep at night. So imagine the people in Guyana, they probably didn't sleep 24/7.
Yes.
That's correct. Janet, can you walk us through some of your current initiatives that you have planned for, you know, as being new president of the ACG? What are some of your plans?
Well, thank you for that question. Initiatives will be conditional upon COVID-19. Whereas we would have a Christmas dance get together, we would have a Valentine's dance get together. We could be planning something, inviting someone from Guyana to join us for a nice social gathering. These are all things that.
I hope you guys invite me to come sing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. With your great voice, why not? But we're not having any Christmas in person, but we may be doing something on Zoom if that's possible. We're going to try for that. And we'll see what next year brings. And in the meantime, I'm taking the opportunity to bring my management, leadership, and administrative skills to streamline some things, set up committees, and get people engaged and see what we can do to be stronger together. I can't believe I said that.
Now, I know I said that it was a male-dominated society, basically. It's like, you know, I won't even call it the secret society, but it's somehow felt like that over the years because it was, I basically know all the members and it's all the top executive members because I've seen them around the cricket grounds and some of the more cultural, you know,
well, actually, why I said it, I can't believe I said stronger together is because it's actually a lingo or, you know, a prominent message of hope for Guyanese by the government when they were campaigning, you know, they're stronger together as all Guyanese, regardless of race or gender or religion, to bring people and unite. So when I say that in context of ACG, I just didn't realize it's already in my head so deep I can't forget it.
So, Janet, if I may ask you that if I'm listening to this program right now, I've never heard of the ACG, let's just say I've never heard of the ACG, and you are talking to us about the ACG, and I'm saying, that's a Guyanese organization I would like to join, but why should I join it? What is it in it for me as a Guyanese Canadian living here? Why should I join the ACG? Because we're going to ask you if you're looking for members and so, you know, to give out your numbers, but why should I join the ACG?
Well, you know, I did talk about the part about supporting Guyana in terms of, you know, democracy and human rights and, you know, justice for all. But the ACG also functions as a Guyanese Canadian organization for Guyanese here, and whatever we can do to help Guyanese here. And it has actually done so historically. Organizations evolve over time. Sometimes you're in a lull, depending on what's happening, and other times you get energized. And the ACG has partnered with other organizations to do fundraising for, say, the burn care unit at Georgian Hospital, a few years ago, or many years ago. Also, when they had the flood relief, and there are many others, the opportunities for Guyanese to come together and be in a hub. When you migrate to another country, especially, where the climatic condition is different, the culture is different, it's an industrialized nation, there's a certain alienation, there's a certain isolation, and it serves as a nice place to come together and associate with each other as Guyanese living here. So
Right.
people sometimes may come to an event um, and not be a part of it, but to be a member. And I think now is the right time is for us as Guyanese Canadian, especially that there's a lot more emphasis on Guyana being interested in the Guyanese diaspora. It could be, maybe you're retired and you might want to volunteer your services, or you might want to do something different. You might even want to go back to Guyana, and we can be that voice to be able to give some kind of sense of confidence and
Right.
avenue for information.
Right. And I asked that question, Janet, in a positive way because Friday last
Mhm.
was 38 years for me since I came to Canada. And on the very first Sunday, I met Sarsaw at the Madeira. And I
Mhm.
ran up to him and I says, "Comrade, you remember me? I want to join the ACG." And he was like, "Huh?" Because people at that time, nobody really run to join the ACG. And
Yeah.
from then on until today, 38 years, I've been a member of the ACG, over 10 years in the executive. But indeed, there's a lot that one can gain by joining the ACG because it is what, like Sister Janet says, your resources adding to a broader networking can help
Yeah.
people locally here
Yeah.
and in Guyana. Similarly, that same networking with our brother Ashmeed, localizing also in your framework of your own backyard. You necessarily don't have to live in Ajax to work with Brother Ashmead because he goes out of Ajax also and he's willing to help even anybody, much as Guyanese Canadian, anywhere in the GTA. So, yes, to any one of our brothers and sisters out there, if you want to have something of substance to hold on to an organization, or maybe someone like Brother Ashmead who can give you leadership in terms of where you can attach on yourself to help a cause, then reach out to us. Sister Janet, if someone wants to join the ACG, how they can go about doing it?
Well, right now we have a Facebook page called ACG Canada, and they can message us there, and we get messages there. And well, right now, because I don't have all of the numbers of our executive, but they can call any of us. They can call me, and then I can see what I can do in terms of getting them a membership application and so on. Take it from there.
Would you want to give out your phone number?
Sure, sure. It's 647-708-5834.
Or
Actually, something, people
You're
can
also on
actually,
Facebook as well.
yeah, you can send me a message on Facebook,
Yeah.
or even send me an email, janetnaidu@rogers.com.
Perfect.
It's hard to know today when people are trying to reach each other, there's so many platforms, WhatsApp, text, email, and you get so overloaded that it's nice to know that if someone can send you an email, you have it there. But by all means, text as well.
Mhm.
And,
Awesome.
and while we're in contact, if we can at the same time give out our brother Ashmead contact information. He, like I said, he's the counselor of Ward 2. His contact number, he's got his cell. If you can take a look at the screen, his cell number is there. His extension is there, and it's ashmeed.khan@ajax.ca. Hey, folks from Ajax, use this man. He's got all the energy in this world, man. He's very young and vibrant. Use him. Get him to make your city, your town, one of the most vibrant in Canada. He's young now. You can't do that 20 years from now. Then he said he got to worry about grandkids after that. So, yes, here is his information. And if you want, it will be in the program. You can share it. You can email any one of us or contact us on Facebook, and we'll give you both the ACG. And in fact, what we can do, Janet, you can go on the chat later on this program, and you can also include your information there.
Absolutely. Okay.
Awesome. So while we're on the topic of current initiatives, what are some of your current initiatives, Ashmeed, for the town of Ajax?
Current initiatives.
Yes.
First of all, I think we got to get through what we're going through right now. This pandemic it's very, very challenging, as we were speaking of earlier. I think my job is to really give hope to our community. And we just have, the initiative is just having everyone to obey protocol. Obey is a strong word, but we need to be cognizant. And what we tell people as well is that, listen, you're strong and young and vibrant, but you might take it home to grandma. You might take it home to the little children, right? So just the initiatives right now for us, survive. We are here to do whatever we can. I know our town, we have froze that put a freeze on the property taxes up until way up in the year. But and then we had to let people start paying their taxes again when the money started flowing again, so that you can eat, you can pay your bills, right? So stuff like that. We're on par with that. We're working hard. In Ajax, it's all about jobs. It's all about keeping people employed, and for me personally, this is a platform I want to use to make sure that, listen, I want to put at least 2 terms into Ajax. But I want to go back home eventually to serve in my country of birth. I want my last breath to be in the country I was born in, right? But I owe this country so much. I have a lot of debt to pay. Canada has been kind and generous to us all. And I'm paying my dues right now. And Brother Joe, thank you for telling our community to reach out to me in and out of Ajax. There's a lot of things that I can help make happen for you to make your lives easier. A lot of stuff. Just reach out. Listen, I'm gonna break out in my Creolese every now and then just to let you know that I'm very approachable. Right?
Yes.
That's the reason I do that. So you know that you call me. I am here to serve. My 5 children know the only reason they were put on this earth is to serve your community. That's all. So the reason I ran and went through all this is so that I can have this platform to help people. So thank you for making that clear. So my initiatives is there. I want to go back home.
That makes two of us. I want to do the same thing too.
I am so happy you mentioned that, because let's think of our community. People are sometimes intimidated to pick up that phone and to call a politician or somebody in those positions. I don't know why, but people don't. And I implore all of you, here's Janet. And because, okay, she's president, oh no, she ain't got time for me. Or Ashmeed, he's a councillor now, I'm too small, you won't. No, brothers and sisters, pick up the phone. There's something, I always say, Brother Ashmeed and Sister Janet, that we learn from a beggar. Don't think because of the man's financial position, he doesn't have it in here to tell us words of wisdom. We will learn from the day we stop learning is the day we die. So pick up that phone, connect with Ashmeed, connect with Janet, and talk to them. That's why they are there. They're put in positions to serve us, their community, and they're willing to lend that. And I know Brother Ashmeed and my sister Janet, because when they're put in a position to help, they feel so good. And I'll give you one example. Myself and Sister Mala, we've joined force and we raised money for a very worthy cause. And sometimes when you're in public, challenges happen and we needed some legal advice. One phone call to Janet Naidu, and she worked with us tirelessly to make sure everything was proper and right and every dime was handed over and what we've done it the right way without looking for compensation. These are the hearts and the personalities, and Mala can attest to it because Mala and myself and other people met with her in long meetings. This is the type of personality that we bring to you for you to know that they're just waiting to speak to you to say, Uncle, Auntie, what can I do to help you? And let me give you a little advice. Here's what we can do.
Yeah.
So pick up the phone, give them a call, because when you call them, you put smiles on their face. Right,
That
I
Mal?
is
would,
true. That
I
is
would like to
correct.
say, Brother Joe, thank you for your recognition. I just want to say that I'm not a lawyer, but I have, let me say, uh, with pride, if I may pat myself on the shoulder, a high analytical mind. I'm able to discern information. And I've done a lot of this work before, and that's why I was able to help. I was very glad to do so.
Excellent,
Mhm.
excellent,
Awesome.
excellent.
And I'm pretty sure if we call on Mr. Ashmeed Khan as well, he will be able to provide us that same set of information as well too.
That's the only reason I ran for office. And one of the most humiliating things I've done was knock on 12 or 13,000 doors and ask people in this community to look at me at the color of my skin. The name KHAN does not resonate well with people, unfortunately, and ask them for their trust. And I've had doors slammed in my face, and my the women folk in my home wear the
Mhm.
hijab, so that does not help either. And it was humiliating having doors, especially when you're doing it to serve. You're not doing it as a career, right?
Mhm.
There's no big light at the end of the tunnel, no rewards except the ones in your heart. But we went through the humiliation, and they did give me their trust.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did, and I'm honored and I'm grateful, and I'm not proud. It's proud is not a good word. But I'm absolutely grateful, and I will do everything that, as long as I'm here serving, I will do everything I possibly can to make everything
Mhm.
okay for everybody else.
I just want to give a shout out once again to people on Facebook who are following us. And I mispronounce his name. His name is DJ Slim Muhammad. So thank you for that correction, brother. Raymond Dean is on right now saying, congratulations, wonderful program. Bobby Ramlagan saying to us, it's on point, whatever our discussion is here. Sati Ramjas from Markham saying, good afternoon to us. And Prem Prasad, thank you so much for logging in. And to all of you, Bina Singh from Guyana is also logged in with us. And we thank all of you, and we ask you to continue sharing the link. These links stay on. And for those people who are out right now with families or maybe doing shopping, later on they look forward to
Yeah.
listening to our discussions.
Mhm.
So we thank all of you for joining with us.
I
Mal,
think
over to
I
you.
think there's one of your schoolmates, your former schoolmates from Georgetown, is on here right now. Terry Matera. Do you recognize that name?
I know Terry. Yes, it's me you're talking to, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Terry very well. Yeah.
He says that you guys were schoolmates back in Guyana.
You
Yes.
didn't beat up the boy in school, eh? Okay.
I
Uh-huh. All right. So I know that all of us are parents, but you, Ashmeed, you have 5 kids, and with your busy, busy, busy lifestyle, how do you manage it? How do you balance your time and your career
um
and your business?
the three older ones are Guyanese,
Mhm.
so they get beat.
Okay.
Yes. No,
You actually kept well.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing.
I know. So they run the show. They're very responsible. My eldest Farhana, she's doing law. She got accepted at University of Leicester in England, and she's doing law. And she is me. I adore her tenacity as a woman, a leader. She's got everything on her shoulders, and she does a great job in taking care of the family. My son Abbas, the big one, he's 21. He wants to be an imam. He's studying to be a Muslim, an Islamic scholar in a Canadian business oriented life and method that you can embrace and show comparative religion and that we're all one. This is the way my children are being raised. Muhammad, he's the middle, the middle children, right? So,
Mhm.
anyway, he's going to college. And but I don't know, we spend a lot of, what we do, Mala, what we do? We have a sunset prayer, which is now, since my children's, the five of them, we always pray our sunset prayer together.
Oh,
That is our get together. I'm home for Maghrib, we call it, when the sun set, and we pray together. Then we sit down, they jump on my lap, and they can tell me all the story they had all day. And that's how we keep that closeness together. And I wouldn't trade that for the world. That's the best thing I got from my religion, is that prayer time. But I do manage.
beautiful.
I do manage.
Well, I envy you with having 5 kids because I only have one, and I know Janet only has one as well, and we're both single parents. So, Janet, how do you manage? Like, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I, I would have to say that my son is in his early 30s, and he he's had the luxury of his grandmother, and especially like single parents. I would say predominantly women are single mothers. I know that Ashmeed, you're a single parent from what I can gather, but I would say that it's a challenge for any parent who has to give of their raise their children and do their jobs, and be in the community, and try to balance everything is not easy. And I've also, as I said, my son has had the luxury of his grandmother, and the roles that grandmothers play in the lives of children, whether you're a single parent or not, but more so when you're a single parent, because they're there full time when you're on the job or you need a babysitter and you don't have another partner to call upon. And for me, I would have to say that balancing life and challenges, that it's important to find ways to relax, ways to de-stress, and ways to energize. And
Yeah.
actually, I used to be a long distance runner. I
Really?
ran the Toronto Marathon.
Wow, that's amazing.
Many years ago, after many runs, I ran it. And that, I think physical activity and spiritual activity, being involved physically, spiritually, emotionally, and putting it all together, is like a wholesome approach to balancing and juggling everything that comes your way.
Mhm. How do you balance it, Joe? Let's hear from you.
Me, but I cool along with programs like these. This is my this is my me time. I want to ask Brother Ashmead one question. Let's just say whether you're an immigrant or a Canadian and you're living in the GTA, and I'm looking for somewhere to go to live. Maybe I want to buy a property. I want to live somewhere. What is it you'll say to them, and you want to encourage them to come to Ajax? What would you say to them to lure them to come and check
Uh,
out and live in
So
Ajax?
that's the real estate in him asking that question.
Just show them my photograph.
Yes. Okay.
Um, Ajax, our land is used up, and we can't. There is nothing more like what's it called, detached homes anymore. So it's
Mhm.
all about density, and we're building and we're going up high, right? And it's not cheap. Ajax is expensive.
Mhm.
A lot of people start up and then they move into Ajax, and its growth. And what I can say, a lot of immigrants come to Ajax and they bring their money, and it's very well invested in. How do I attract people to Ajax? I don't know. I don't know how to attract them, but I know that 8 months into council, we won the most influential council in Ontario award. Right? I know how hard we work, and we were very proud of that. Like the award came out, we won the award, and we were just 8 months into council. So we're very much in the development, into investments. And listen, and I might be kidding about the photo thing, but you have me. You want to come call me? I'm a businessman. I don't have any big fancy degrees. I'm a street guy. I hustle and I understand what happens in the street, and I rub shoulders with the right people who can open up doors
Yeah.
for you, right? So come to Ajax, man. We're gonna take care of you.
Tell us a little bit about the casino on Ajax.
But we have a casino in Ajax, which is going to be taken over by the casino in Pickering, right? So it's, you know, the big development that's happening in Pickering, and
Correct.
they're bringing. Sorry, Mala.
Yeah,
You,
I was going to ask you about that.
yeah, well, so the one in Ajax, because you're only allowed like one license from the Ontario Lottery and the gaming OLG, so to speak. So they kept us open for a while till the Pickering one keeps going. We only have slot machines in our casino in Ajax, the casino Ajax, but the Durham Life casino is it's big, and it's what I know. I don't know what you want to know, but I know a lot of jobs are gonna come. And again, like I said, what's good for Pickering is good for Ajax, is
True,
good for
true,
Canada, right?
true.
But I know lots of,
Yeah.
and listen, I'm sorry, but my mind is only bent on employment. I want
Yeah.
to make sure we get jobs for our residents and they can provide for their family, and they work close to home. They work close to, because what I've learned in the campaign trail for sure is that when you're working in Toronto and you live in Durham, and that time you finish working 5 o'clock and you take two trains to get home 7:30, most teenage pregnancies and crime and alcoholism and drug abuse happens between 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. when you are commuting to
Mhm.
home. That family time with your children is what you lose from commuting. So we've been working towards creating jobs at home. So I'm sorry if I'm coming off the topic about the casino,
Mhm.
but you know,
No,
my heart is with getting jobs for our families.
very relevant, brother. Very
Yeah.
relevant. Yes, very important. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
How
Now, one
about
more
rapid
thing.
fire time?
One more thing about politics being a male dominant industry. I'm just proud to say that Ajax, we have a mayor and we have six councillors. Three are female, three are male. So it's quite well balanced. So we
Mhm.
and our women are powerful. Our women are strong and they're smart, and ain't no bullying happening with our girls on council, right? They're very strong, and they're so I think that male dominant thing is something gonna be a
Of the
thing.
past.
Yeah. So
Right.
we're proud
Right.
oh, and the other thing, our tagline, Sister Janet, is Ajax 65 because it's 65 years for us. Hashtag stronger together. Just so you know, Ajax hashtag too. So
Excellent.
Yes.
thank you.
That's awesome. Well, before we ask for your final thoughts, we have this little thing called like rapid fire questions. So it's just a little fun little game for us to go through, just to, get pick your brains, get to know you a little bit better. So we'll just ask a couple of silly questions. Whatever comes to mind,
You
just
know that's
answer.
trouble. You know that I can be in trouble for this, right?
Ah, all right, I'm gonna keep it clean. All right, I'm gonna keep it clean. What's your favorite food?
Uh, Me or Janet, I don't know.
Okay, Ashmeed, you go first. What's your favorite food?
Hook up rice.
Janet,
Well, I like my chicken curry.
just chicken curry alone, that's it?
No, I like chicken curry. I like lamb too, actually, but I like the chicken curry very much. And I must say, let me add that, you know, when I first came to Canada in the 70s, there were hardly people from Guyana or other countries here. It was just after Pierre Trudeau had opened the doors to immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And I was living downtown and I saw this place called India House. And when I walked in, I smelled the curry. I ordered it right away because I had not actually cooked when I was in Guyana. I didn't cook it, but I came from a family where the older siblings did all the cooking.
Yeah.
So when I went there, and then I used to go there once a week just to have my curry chicken. But it was Indian style. It wasn't Guyanese style. And then later on, we saw how many Guyanese restaurants in Scarborough and
Mm-hmm.
you have people from India also
Yeah.
in Indian restaurants. So I hate to emphasize the curry chicken, and
Oh,
as I'd
wonderful.
like to say curry chicken.
Awesome. What do you hate the most, Ashmeed?
What
What's
do
your
I
pet
hate the
peeve?
most?
I would say, okay, let's rephrase that. What's your pet peeve?
Pet peeve, I think what I've learned as a child is backbiting. When you speak ill of someone behind their back, and it's especially when it's not true. That is absolutely my most hated thing.
Well, that's a Guyanese thing.
There's gossiping, right? Yeah. Talk name, talk name. Me hate
Yeah,
talk
that's
naming.
correct. That's correct. Janet, what about you?
Well, because of the field I've been in, I would like to say that I don't really like the word hate, but I would say that I dislike people not coming forth in truth telling. Now, not everything has to be told or revealed. I understand privacy and so on, but I think that it's important for people to speak up and speak their minds because we live in a very silent majority world that even in personal spaces, if somebody wants to speak up, they may not have the confidence, which is fine. They want somebody else to do it for them. So I don't like it when people don't want to speak up about something and that they know that it exists, but they
Yeah.
want to put you on the platform to do it. And it's like when you speak up, you become the one who's not disliked. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if you're silent, you're nice and you're sweet.
Yeah. Ashmeed, what inspires you the most?
I don't know. I want to give you one word. That's rapid fire. I want to just give you
Yes, one
what
word.
inspires
One
me
word.
the most. I think goodness. I think community and goodness and helping people. And as I'm getting older, I'm getting more emotional. Even like thinking about, how grateful we are as a community and how we take care of each other, especially in our culture, especially as Guyanese, how we look out for each other. I think that's very inspiring for me. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Janet,
Sorry, what was the question
what
again?
inspires you the most?
Well, I would say that being caring to one another was similar to what Ashmi just said, that when you have care as a pillar of your life, then
Mhm.
everything flows.
How about if I throw this question to Joe? What inspires you the most, Joe?
Oh, what inspires me the most is to,
One word, Joe. One
yeah,
word.
uh, gosh, I'm the host. No, okay. So what inspires me is to make sure another person out there is as fortunate as I am. So what basically all that I'm saying, we're all equal. So never put down yourself. So for me, what inspires me is to go out, give a helping hand.
Mhm.
Give a helping hand.
Do you have a rapid fire question for our guest?
No, but I have some comments here on Facebook. If you're
Okay,
finished with the rapid fire.
go right ahead.
Okay, so Zarina is saying, well said program, and she wants to say hi to her friend Janet, who was a co-worker in Guyana. Great job. Bina Singh says, I'm enjoying you guys. Very informative about Guyana. Next year, hoping to be in Ajax. You see, counselor? Next year to be in Ajax to visit and to be with all of you there. Pearl Prasad, thank you for watching. And last but not least, our very own Consul General, Anyan Chu,
Awesome.
saying good evening to all of us. Great program. A big shout out to the two guest speaker for great community service. So,
Awesome.
Thank you,
thank,
Anya.
and just for all of you to know that our Consul General, along with the 50th Jubilee Celebration Committee, is soon, you'll be hearing about it this year, is putting together a 2-hour concert program on the 27th of December at 7 p.m. Stay with us on Facebook. You're going to hear more about that. Also, a very, very, very hardworking community worker, uh, Kim Sue from Norman Sue Bakery is on saying to us, enjoying the program and happy holidays to everyone, to stay safe. I want to bring in just another clip from Brother Ashmeed. I think this is some of the work that he's doing with the tongue of Markham. And here's another clip of him asking for people to participate.
Hello, Ward 2. This is Councilor Ashmeed at the Audley Recreation Center. I'm just here to remind you and encourage you to support the Mayor and Council annual toy and food drive, and we're accepting donations until December 14th. And I know you want to hear more about this, so visit ajax.ca/drive.
So there you go. Once again, our counselor, Ashmeed Khan. Over to you, Mal.
Awesome. So in closing of the program, I would like if both of you could give, if there's any aspiring young person out there who would like to follow in politics, for instance, and Janet, with you maybe wanting to become a lawyer or a human rights activist or anything like that, what advice would you give in your own words, to any aspiring young person out there who's watching today?
Well, thanks for that question, Marla. I think that first of all, I think Ashmead had said something about taking the horse to the well, and then the horse must drink. And I'm just going to springboard on that the person must be wanting something. They must, first of all, have a self-exploration of themselves as to what they really want. And once they get to a sense, and I know a lot of young people sometimes don't know what they want to do, and they're in a quandary, but it is helpful to begin to explore some options. You don't have to settle for one, because sometimes you don't really follow all the things you studied in school. You could end up doing something totally different as you get inspired along the way. But it is helpful to have a foundation. And that, I would say, is to begin to explore, do some self-exploration, rather than just say, do this, do that, do the other. That I'm actually doing some work right now with some supervisors and managers, young people who are just new on the job, and they've never had any kind of training. And this is an area that I'm zeroing in on, is examine the self-awareness and what you're about in order to springboard into where you would like to go.
Correct. Awesome. Ashmeed?
Continue what Janet just said. After you found out who you are, the self-exploration part, the next step would be to build your network. Get involved with boards of trades, chambers of commerces, get involved with YMCAs, build your network. You're only as strong as your network. Your network is the people you know, the people you meet, the people that knows who you are. When you're doing that, get into volunteering. Get into places, volunteer at your mandir, at your church, at your masjid, volunteer at the hospital, at the Salvation Army. Go, and what happens when you volunteer, when you do work for free, is that you rub shoulders again with like-minded people who may be more successful than you are, and who will be able to open the door. Again, from what Janet said, when you find yourself and know what you want to do, and even in that process of networking and volunteering, you meet your community. And that's how you get strong. So
Yeah.
volunteering, networking.
I'd like to add one more thing, if I may.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for young people to have a mentor, a role model, a coach. Not me, but
Well, you're a life coach.
no, it's important because even when I came to Canada,
Yeah.
if I had an experienced person, a wisdom of the ages, giving me their knowledge and guidance, I would have been grateful for it. I was thrown in the lion's den. I had to find my way around, like many of us who came here, and we didn't have things like immigration services or, housing. You had to find your way out into the cold. Yeah, so I think now is a good time. There are so many resources, and Ashmead mentioned some of them, but I think one of the important ones for young people is to have a role model, have a mentor, have a coach, a guide in their life. It could be a parent, it could be an uncle, it could be a neighbor, it could be a religious leader, of that kind.
Well, thank you for that. Joe, would you like to add anything?
Are we closing up right now? Is the last?
Unless you have any other questions for them?
No, no. What I want to say is that I feel very blessed and privileged because I think I gain more blessings working in the community.
Yeah.
And I have never in my years of working in the community ever charged a dime for my service. For me, I looked at it this way, that God gave me the ability to do certain things. It's a privilege. And if I abuse it, it will be taken away. And for me to rub shoulders and meet a humble human being in the soul of Ashmeed Khan, our sister Janet, who I knew since the 80s, and to be able to, and then Mala and we got connected somewhere around 2009 or somewhere around there.
To the
And
temple, by the way.
yeah, and we have done so many programs together. The good thing is what I'm getting at, Brother Ashmead bring his resources on, Sister Janet, Sister Mala, and myself, and many, many more hundreds and hundreds of people. If we all pool our talents together, oh, how can we make this world a better place? All I'm asking for people out there, as the year is coming to a close, and there's this New Year resolution thing, which I don't believe in, but some people do. And if you are looking at your New Year resolution, then look at your own life and one quality or one thing that you can help with another human being. Don't make a promise, but just go and help. Help somebody. Use your talent, help without looking back for a dime. It will come to you in abundance.
And without promoting it on social media as well, because I find these days a lot of people, they want to do a little bit of good, right? But everything has to be picturized or video and put it out there. You know, if you want to do something good for somebody, I suggest you do it out of the goodness of your heart,
Yes.
and not because of some publicity stunt.
Right. And when you go to bed at night, you put your head on your pillow and you sleep with a clear conscience, knowing you've helped another one of God's children.
Absolutely.
And you didn't look forward for anything. If all of us can do that, what Brother Ashmead is doing there, and also knowing that, Sister Mala, that I can pick up the phone and call at any time to any one of you, because we've got this, we talk about networking, we've got this network of like-minded people that can help make this world a better place. I thank both of our guests for today for being with us. It has been a pleasure. If we keep this brother a little longer, he gonna make me laugh till me belly bust.
It's been an absolute pleasure with the both of you, having the both of you on, and like Joe said, rubbing shoulders with the right people. I think it was a blessing in disguise that I met him several years ago, and ever since then, it's been a wonderful journey for me, being able to help him on so many different levels, and then being able to meet Janet on different occasions as well too. And she just recently helped me out with a few things of my own. And now you, Ashmeed. So I'm looking forward to working with you at some point in the future as well.
I'm a servant to my community. Call upon me anytime.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you both for being on the program today. And Joe, do you have any closing remarks?
Just that I would like to say to everybody that remember, mark on your calendar, on the 20th of December at 6 p.m., time change by 2 hours, on this very program will be the Christmas Parang.
Christmas Parang virtual concert.
Virtual concert.
And we have a lineup of about 10 artists or so who's going to be performing for you live. And we also have some dignitaries as well too.
Now, are you going to be singing?
You have to watch to find out.
You know what? The 21st is my birthday, so this might be the biggest party I have. So I'll probably stick around for it.
20th of December. It's happening on the 20th of December. Good. Our very first Sunday afternoon Lime Parang, Christmas Parang virtual concert. So mark the date, everyone who's watching right now, and keep it locked on the 20th of December as we bring to you a very, very entertaining evening of entertainment.
But I would like to say thank you both, Brother Joe and Sister Mala, and nice to meet you let me call you Honorable Ashmeed Khan. Never mind, I'm calling you that.
That's that. Yeah.
It was really a pleasure to be on your program. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise, thank you very
Thank
much for having us, having me, and I'm happy that you're making it clear to our residents that I'm here and we're here to help in every way we can. And you guys are doing an amazing job. Because I know there's no benefits for anybody here except sleeping sound on your pillow at night, knowing you did something good for somebody.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for providing this platform that we can share what we can do for our community.
Yes, absolutely.
And-
And Joe, I want to say thank you so much as always for being on, especially when I have the community aspect of this program to co-host with me. So thank you very much.
And I just wanted two guests to know, and all other guests, if you have an initiative that you want to bring to your community, this platform is always available to you. Brother Ashmeed, this platform will be available to you to progress and to make human lives better. Sister Janet, anything that the ACG does that will help people in Canada here and also in Guyana, feel free to come back at any time so we can discuss and disseminate those information to all our brothers and sisters across the world. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. And to all of our viewers that are locked on right now, thank you for joining in with us today. We want to wish you all the very best in your week ahead. Remember to be kind to one another, and this world can only be a better place starting with you. Make sure to wear your mask, practice social distancing, and be safe. Do join us again next week as I present to you a very talented father and son duo all the way from South Africa, and a massive talent from my hometown, Guyana. So until next week, everybody, be safe, be kind to one another, and thank you again to our esteemed panel of guests here today, and also to my wonderful co-host and my brother, Joe Jaglal. Thank you so much.
Good night,
I
everyone.
will end the program today with a beautiful song, and I hope you guys like it.
There's a land just off the Atlantic, land of jungles, waterfall and sweet scenery, where poor people farm their land and hunt the water, and all live in peace and harmony. Yeah, this is Guyana. Beautiful Guyana, this is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Oh, Guyana, land where I was born, sweet land shining in the sun. I could hear the monkey chatter up the tree and the parrot singing this melody. Oh, Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Oh, Guyana, independent and free. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. This is Guyana, beautiful Guyana. Oh, diamond seekers go in the interior, pulling their careers under the falls, singing sweet calypso as they heave on their way to dig up the diamond and gold. With kite tumbling to the river. I would love to see your foaming tide. I listen to the chirps of the cheerful kiskadee as they throw their yellow breasts to the sky. This is Guyana.
So I just want to say again, thank you, everybody. That was a video of my beautiful land of Guyana. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week, same time, same place. Thank you, everyone, and have a great week ahead.